Hello and welcome. Today we'll be going over year-end procedure for year-end prep for ending the payroll year and updating the tax tables. Before closing payroll for the year, you should read through the ComputerEase year-end manual in its entirety and determine dates that you can reasonably expect to complete each of the following tasks. You can find the manual in the Deltek Support Center homepage under Year-End Resources for guides and checklists. Before you start the year-end payroll process, you should review your master files, starting with deductions and fringes. You'll want to confirm that deduction and fringe code types have the appropriate selection for Box 12 on the W-2s, as the deduction and fringe type is used to determine the IRS code for Box 12 reporting on the W-2 form. So, for this example, deduction type chosen in the drop-down for employer-sponsored health coverage identifies this deduction as part of the total cost of an employee's health coverage, and it will result in a Box 12 report with a code of DD, so D as in Delta, D as in Delta, on the W-2 form. It will do the same for the corresponding fringe as well. Please be aware that as of 2012, both deductions and fringes have a new type for employer-sponsored health coverage, which can be seen here in the example. If the deductions and/or fringes must be reported in Box 14 of the W-2 form, you'll also want to confirm that the appropriate corresponding code is entered in the W-2 Box 14 code field. Deductions and fringes setup can be located in payroll system, maintenance programs for deduction maintenance or fringe maintenance. You can contact your accountant with any questions regarding W-2 reporting for any deductions and/or fringes. If you make any changes, click OK to save them. Next, check Employee Maintenance found in Payroll System, Maintenance Programs for the master files for accuracy of name, address, and Social Security number. Then confirm that the company's name, address, and phone number are correct. This information can be verified by choosing Company Name from the main menu, Configure Company Name. You'll then need to verify the tax identification numbers by selecting Payroll System, Maintenance Programs, Tax Rate Maintenance. Check the Federal ID number in Federal Tax Rate Maintenance, and then check the State ID number in State Tax Rate Maintenance. If you have local taxes, also check the Local Tax Rate Maintenance for Locality ID, and the following if necessary. If the local taxing agency will not accept a transmittal sheet and a W-2 is required, make sure the W-2 required field is selected. You'll want to verify the name of the local tax because when you print your W-2s, only 13 characters can fit on the W-2 statements, so you may need to change names to accommodate this. Otherwise, it will cut off part of the name, which can be seen in the example given here. And please be aware that the county codes and school district information are required for magnetic media. If any changes were made for tax rate maintenance, please ensure to click OK to save. After you have completed your final payroll cycle for year-end and are certain that you'll have no further layoffs or bonus checks, complete normal month-end reporting, and then run quarterly and yearly payroll reports. You will want to print and retain the following reports for your permanent records: month, quarter, year to date for tax reporting, state and local taxes withheld, federal and state unemployment, workers' comp worksheet, 941 worksheet, and Schedule B. And these reports can be found in Payroll System, Reports, Tax Reporting. You'll also want to print the following reports for your records, which would be the deduction and fringe reports if they're applicable, union and EEOC reports if they're applicable, and the employee master reports. These reports can be found in just Payroll System Reports. In preparation for the new year, there are some items that may need to be reviewed and reset at this time of year, such as vacation and sick time for accrued and available. If it's applicable, you can refer to your configure, system parameters, payroll parameter to make sure expire accrued sick or vacation hours are checked and the month selected for when you would like to expire any unused sick or vacation hours at the same time for all employees with rules set up. Also, please make sure that you check that the rules for sick and/or vacation accruals have been set up for your employees and employee maintenance, and that deduction and fringe yearly cap limits have been set in your employee maintenance if applicable. You'll also want to review your ACA information. Ensure to gather information on plans, premiums, and employee statuses and offer codes. There is a training video that goes over ACA in further details and steps if you are unfamiliar with ACA, and that can be located in the Deltek Support Center year-end resources. Next, we'll go over updating the tax tables. ComputerEase keeps the federal and state tax tables updated, so to access the newest tax tables, you must be on the most current release of the version you are on. So see the auto update feature section of the year-end manual for help with updating. You have two options for updating your tax tables. The first option is to wait until you're printing your payroll register for the first payroll run of the year and to let ComputerEase prompt you to update your tables with any federal or state changes at that time. Your second option is to load the updates manually. For the first option, to automatically load your tax tables for the new year, you will need to enter and process your first payroll run of the new year as normal. You'll print your payroll register and enter in a date in the date of check field with the date that is in the new year. The following warning message will display: the following tax tables do not agree with the tax tables shipped with this release of the software. Any tables that have changes for the new year will be listed with an effective date for the changes. Leave the checkbox selected in the update column for each table in the list and process your payroll register. ComputerEase will update your tax tables for you at that point. As a tip, the payroll register is date sensitive and will update the tax tables as many times as necessary depending on the check date. This means that you can process your first payroll of the new year during December and allow ComputerEase to update the tax tables to the new year tables for use during that payroll run. And then you can run bonus checks for the current year and allow ComputerEase to update the tax tables back to the current year for use for those checks. The next time you process a new year payroll, ComputerEase will update the tables back to the new year again. As for the second option, to manually update the tax tables, you will need to load the defaults. To load the default tax tables for federal taxes, select Payroll System, Maintenance Programs, Tax Rate Maintenance, Federal Tax Maintenance. Then select the year and click OK. On the Federal Tax Information screen, click File, Load Defaults in the top left corner of the window to update the tax tables for the year entered. On the main tab of the Federal Tax Information screen, make any changes as needed to the information, but please note that the only information you may want to change is the employer's ID number or the federal unemployment rate. Click OK to save. To load the default tax tables for state taxes, it'll be the same process as you would for federal, and you want to make sure that on the main tab or the SUTA tab of the state tax information screen to make any changes to the information as needed. So when you're finished editing the information, you'll also want to click OK to save your changes. Please note the SUI and associated rates for applicable states will need to be maintained manually once you have received your new rate from the state on the SUTA tab, and that any rates shown on this page, as well as any previous pages, are for demonstration purposes only. Tax rates are subject to last-minute legislative change, and the rates shown here should not be assumed to be the final rates or limits. And that is the end of our training session. Thank you for attending. For more information, please review the year-end resources found within the Deltek Support Center.